I never thought it would happen, but somehow I got tired of being cooped up inside drawing all day. So, me and my buddy Krunch headed out on the town to do some plein air drawing. Krunch decided to opt for the acrylic paints, and he's a fairly accomplished painter, or at least that's what he tells me, and that's what it seemed like, and I opted for the watercolor paints. I found myself on a street somewhere closer to downtown, a street lined with cars, but also thankfully a lot of very pretty flowers and other growing things, and some people had tended very pretty gardens. One house in particular caught my eye, and I went up and knocked on the door of it and told the lady living there that I was an artist, and I asked her if it was okay if I drew and painted her house. After a pause, she said it was okay and that I could, and as I was walking away, she popped her head back out and said, "Can I see it when you're done?" And I said, "Of course." I started the drawing out with ink, a bold move on my part, and followed it up with a little bit of watercolor to try to cover up some of my mistakes. The house I chose had a lot of very strange and challenging angles, and perspective is not my strong suit, mostly because I don't do this sort of thing very often. But maybe I should. If you do anything a lot, you'll get better at it. The whole time I was drawing, Krunch was sitting nearby, facing the other direction, painting a house across the street from him, lost in his own little world of brushes, and he had the nice acrylic paints and tubes, the stuff I could never convince myself to buy, but if he's using them, maybe I should too. I fill the sky and background of my painting with billowy, colorful clouds to distract from the mangled proportions of the building and structure itself, and I think it might have worked all right. The whole time I was drawing, little ants were crawling all over it, trying to help out or take little sips from my puddles of colored water, I'm not sure. And little creatures were in the trees, looking down on me, gauging my progress. It was a good day, and it was hard to choose just one thing to draw. Not only were there so many cool houses all begging to have their likeness etched upon the paper, but so many of just the blades of grass and the flowers and the bark on the trees and the little leaves hanging from the branches there and the bugs and butterflies and birds flitting around. Everything seemed worthy. I thought my first mishap on the paper begged a little bit more practice, so I picked what I thought was perhaps the simplest looking house on the street and tried a little pencil sketch, which I thought went a little better as far as proportion and vanishing points and all that sort of thing is concerned. But, all in all, I was happy with what I accomplished that day. I made some art, I absorbed some sunlight, and I hung out with the infamous Krunch. Who knows what he's up to now? It's probably better not to guess.